Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Legacy. My name is Noah Mitchell and I'm the Senior Learning Experience Designer here at Legacy FM. And today, I want to share with you yet another story. I know, I like to share stories, but I just feel like a lot of the things we see in our day-to-day lives, they have a lot of impact and a lot of lessons already integrated into them. And so, honestly, I don't have to think about them as much, right? So, the other day, this just happened a couple of days ago, actually. It was the first day of the school year for my daughter. She just started second grade, and we were really thankful and grateful because after lots of prayer and lots of effort, we were able to get her into this really good charter school that's nearby. And so we dressed her up in her little uniform, and she went to her first day of second grade, and it was awesome. That's not the story. That's just me being a dad. So anyway, after we dropped her off at her classroom or at her school, my wife and I decided, hey, it's been a while since we've actually had a morning that we could just, go sit down somewhere, have coffee and a little bite to eat. So we stopped at this little Cuban cafe that's here in town and, proceeded to get our café con leche and some little breakfast items for ourselves. After a while, though, because we sat outside, we noticed down on the main road that there were a couple of maybe younger guys, I'm not sure, maybe older guys, but a couple of guys pushing their car. And this was no little, Pinto. It was a huge SUV. And they were, pushing the car very slowly through traffic. And of course, anyone looking at that scene in that moment, you already know exactly what happened. They were driving, their car died in the middle of traffic, and now they have the unfortunate, and not fun job of putting that thing in neutral and trying to get it out of the way of traffic. And so they were, getting it out of the lane that they were in, but they were trying to also turn the car and take it uphill, which there are not a lot of hills in Florida, by the way. And so here's one of the only hills in Florida, and these poor guys are trying to, get the car out of traffic and up that hill to an Advanced Auto Parts. And so it was killing me because we were actually pretty far away. It would have taken me, some time to get down there to them safely at least. But I felt so bad. I felt guilty. I wanted to go and help them. And I just, was frozen really, watching as, people would just drive by, pass by. But then something really cool happened. A guy in his truck came and, turned into Advanced Auto Parts and parked his truck, and he came down and he started helping them. And so what started as a really slow and arduous process for the original two guys, it got a little bit easier. So they were able to get it out of the traffic and onto that slope, which actually the original two guys, they already had it on the slope. So kudos to them. Those are some really strong guys. With my spine being as bad as it is, I do not think I would have been able to do that. But anyway, when that third guy came in, then they actually started making some progress up the hill. But it was still really hard. And then something else amazing happened. Another person stopped, and then another person stopped. And so with those five guys, then it was like magic. It was like a knife through butter. They were able to just push it up the hill and get it into the parking lot of Advanced Auto Parts. So you're probably asking, okay, Noah, this sounds like a super cliche story anyway. Those are my favorites. But what's the meaning? What's the lesson behind this? So I found myself reflecting on that moment. First of all, it's just one of those moments when it really gives you hope for humanity. When you see at first a lot of people really pass by, that happens a lot, and that hurts sometimes because I know that I've also done that before where we can't be bothered to help someone else because we don't know who they are, we don't know if we could trust them, we don't have the time, yada yada yada. So to see people take the time to stop and help complete strangers, I think that first of all is lesson enough. But what it really taught me, at least in the context of work, is that actually, I guess there's a couple of things. So the first thing is that you can only get so far by yourself with a project, with whatever you're doing. You can only take it so far. before you need someone else to come in and help you get it the rest of the way. And that might not be one other person, that might be two, that might be three, that might be a whole team of people. And so what it really showed me, I think in that moment, this is the first thing, of course, is that like teamwork really does make the dream work. We say that all the time. Again, it's a huge cliche, but it's true because we can't do it all on our own. And so the second thing that this taught me, and this is a really big one, and this is something I need to practice more myself, is apart from understanding that we can only do so much on our own, and we can only take something so far on our own, that we should also be like those people that stopped. We need to have the awareness to recognize a situation when someone is in need, when someone needs help, and to be a good coworker, a good teammate, a good husband, a good father, a good friend, whatever it is. We need to be aware and recognize those situations when people need help and sacrifice our time. I don't even know if I would call it sacrifice, but I'll use that word. Sacrifice our time to help them out, because is there really anything greater than that? You know, to lay down your time to go help someone to accomplish whatever their goal is and whatever their task is in that moment. And I tend to think that like when we do that, not only are we, I think, allowing our humanity to shine where in a lot of ways in the world it doesn't, but we're also like helping ourselves, because when the whole of humanity is like one big team. So like if we start helping each other, we're really helping ourselves. It's this mutual relationship. But yeah, I don't know. It really got me thinking about that, about how many times have I just passed by or been too frustrated or too rushed to recognize when maybe someone needed my help. And again, like, what does that even mean? It could be a kind word. It could be just like coaching someone and like telling them, don't give up, like you've got this. And then sometimes it's parking your car, getting out of it, walking down the hill and helping a couple of guys push their huge SUV up a hill. And not for any other reason, not with any expectations, but simply to help another human being accomplish their goal. And that's what it's all about, y'all. Like seriously, no matter if you are in a professional context or not, that's what it's all about. So let's go out there today and remember, first of all, that we can't do it all on our own. So we can only take it so far before we need help, and we need to be okay with asking for help. But then secondly, to make sure that first of all, someone asks us for help, if we have the time. I'm not going to say that like all the time we can't help, because there are extenuating circumstances. But if we really have the time, maybe use the 5-minute rule. Will it take 5 minutes? Sure, help them. We need to recognize those situations where I guess seemingly it won't make as much of an impact, but it actually makes more of an impact than we originally think. All right, well, that's all I've got for you today. I kind of stammered there at the end, so I apologize for that. But thanks for always hanging out with me, listening to these stories. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I'd love for you all to leave comments below about maybe some of the times that something similar happened to you, something like this that you saw, and what's your reflection on it. Really would love to start that conversation. Otherwise, you all have an awesome Friday, and I'll see you next week.